And we're off. We're headed to Riviera Beach area this time. I've been here several times and this will be Andre's first. We had a wide variety of activities that we wanted to get done and we were so excited to get off the plane. The first place we headed was the Pirate Republic Seafood Restaurant. Amazing food along the shore and could not more recommend it. After that, we headed straight to the beach. We love our water and we had to get as close as we could as soon as possible. We wanted to get up early, so headed to our wonderful Airbnb on Singer Island. And the next morning, we were on the dock and we were looking for our dive shop. We were looking for Walker Dive Shop where we had set up our Goliath Grouper expedition.
How you doing? We're looking for the Walker Dive.
Here's the shuttle, baby, if you want to go to Peanut Island.
Oh, that's a cool pet. What is it down there?
Say hi.
Painting. Mural.
Say hi.
What's up?
Work by Natalie.
All right, so what are we going to do tomorrow?
We're going to go Goliath Grouper diving.
And how fun is that going to be?
It's going to be super awesome. Look forward to the videos.
We found Walker's Dive Club finally, and at the time the boat was out, but at least we got to know where to go the following morning. We walked along the dock and saw some incredible fish.
2, 3 big ones.
That's the video I wanted.
There you go. Oh, there's 2 more coming. Keep the camera rolling. And then here's some little guys right here. It's going to be lots of jellyfish in the water with this baby doll.
These fountains were so refreshing. We headed then to Wakodahatchee Wetlands, one of my most favorite places for seeing Florida birds. The best time to come to this location is either at the early sunrise or at sunset time when all the birds are coming back from their day and beginning to roost. Within a half hour's time, the trees become overfilled with so many birds. Andre is patient as I work on my photography skills. We're here in September and it's a great time of the year for these boat-tailed grackles. Very boisterous and very beautiful. They are year-long residents of Florida and are non-migrators. Let's just listen. I'm so in love with these little moorhens with their little orange beaks and all the little squeaks they make. Oh, and then obviously there's a lot of lizards and iguanas all over the place, and this guy was just too cute to resist filming him. See today?
We saw all kinds of shit. We saw some turtles. We saw a bunch of birds I ain't never seen before. We've seen some storks, some giant 3-foot tall birds, and these white, whatever they are, I don't know. She's gonna have to explain it to you later in the video.
Okay, yes. Early the next morning, just as the sun came up, we were back at that dock and ready to get on the boat. We were going to be heading out with Walker Dive Charters to look for some Goliath Groupers. Once harvested to near extinction, they were now becoming more and more abundant. On the boat, somebody was collecting a lionfish, which as you know is an invasive species. And then we were back in the water to see some amazing fish. Upon jumping in, we were greeted by this very beautiful queen angelfish. Then we saw several stingrays, southern stingrays in fact. Never in my life had I had a Steve Irwin moment, but I do keep a respectable distance, staying back and away from him, so this was actually zoomed in, but what a beautiful creature to see along, just sitting in the sand. We ended up, so our dive boat actually missed the majority of the wrecks and the Goliath Groupers, letting us off past them. We couldn't swim back because of the current, but did end up gliding past this small Goliath Grouper on our way through the reef. It was after this dive that we decided we definitely had to set up some more diving with a different company, because our main goal of this entire trip was to see the Goliath Groupers. So, long story short, further down the road you'll see we ended up doing some more Goliath Grouper on our last day. The reefs here though were pretty cool. Lots of different sponges and barrel sponges and corals and lots of different fish to see. So it's not like we didn't have a lot to see on these dives. We just didn't see the Goliath Groupers that we had wanted. You could see how strong the current was just based on the plants growing on the seabed and how strongly they were barreling over to the right. So we kept gliding over all of these different formations, not really being able to stop and look at things. So if you wanted to take a picture of something, you either had to fight the current or take the picture really fast, or else you were not going to get it. French angelfish, by the way, are one of my big favorites. I don't know why. I think it's because there's such a stark contrast between the brown and the yellow stripes on them, so I'm always excited when I see them. You gotta love the sergeant major fish too. They're always, I've seen them in just about every ocean that I've been in. Always looking for some cool things, so gotta love this big barrel sponge. Always looking inside those to see if there's anything inside. Haven't really seen anything. And then we came across this nurse shark. So pretty cool. He was just kind of taking it easy, taking a nap underneath this rock. So we got in a little bit close to take a look at him, but not close enough so that we would be scaring him or doing anything that would invade his space. While we didn't see a lot of sharks on this trip, we did see quite a few of the nurse sharks themselves, so always cool to see any kind of shark. I'm pretty enamored with all the different colors of this reef. You could tell the current how fast that we could not just go slowly as we're gliding over everything. So hopefully nobody is getting motion sickness, but wanted to really show you all the cool things that were growing on the ocean floor. There goes a beautiful tang. I always love those too with their little forked tails. Next we came across a school of porkfish. I always love when these fish gather. They look so beautiful in their large groups. Then slowly we glide over this beautiful turtle who just sits there while Andre takes his picture. It was almost as if he was posing for us. What a beautiful green turtle. But we could not stay too long because obviously the current was taking us along. So just sharing with you some more of the beauty, the different corals, the different colored fish. I see a squirrelfish, zebra wrasse. I could just name them all. Andre was right that there were a lot of jellyfish. So especially on our safety stops coming up, we had to be careful to look around and make sure that none of these moon jellies were anywhere close to us where we could get stung. Ever been stung by one of these? It's not pretty. I don't know if we had any vinegar with us, but I didn't want to find out. That was our second dive.
Turtles and sharks and all kinds of stuff. Great dive.
The following morning, we were supposed to meet a dive master from Horsey Scuba to do a sunrise dive at the Blue Heron Bridge. Unfortunately, though, it looks like we ran into a little bit of trouble where the parking lot was blocked off by police, stating that we could not enter. And nowhere could we find our dive master or even get in touch with her. The cops said we could still dive at the bridge if we parked a few blocks away, with Andre carrying all that gear all that way.
We got no number to get in contact with this broad.
So after all of that, we still managed to get all of our gear on and get in the water. And amazing things we did see. More stingrays. I don't actually know what type of stingray this is, but it's very cool looking. And then we saw this wonderful looking crab. Now, being that it was still dark outside and we were the only ones in the water, we had the place to ourselves to see all these cool things. The lighting wasn't very good, but with our lights, we could still see a lot of the cool creatures. I've seen a lot of these reefs during the daylight, so it was kind of cool to see it as the sun rose. Just as the sunlight started coming in the ocean, a lot more fish are out at that time, especially during the high tide. I'll have to say that if you're a diver, diving the Blue Heron Bridge must be on your bucket list. It's such an easy dive where you just walk in the water and almost immediately you start seeing really cool creatures. I've even seen small little octopus just right off the shore. But there's these little areas of reefs that contain all these fish, corals, and more. I will say, and I don't have any footage of it, but I did end up losing my mask on one of these dives. So we were just after our safety stop, we were at the top of the water, and we were just kind of settling in until we were going to swim back up to shore. I ended up losing my mask though, such that we had to go back another day to retrieve it. And to be honest, we did find it after about a 40-minute dive, thanks to Andre's directions and compass usage. So he has a good recollection of the path that we took the day before, and just in the sunlight pouring in, I was able to find my mask just sitting on the bottom of the floor.
So we're here, we're going to be diving on the Blue Heron Bridge for the second time today. And what do you hope to see?
Some stuff. More rays, more arrow crabs.
Yeah, I love those crabs.
Hopefully we'd see a couple nudibranchs.
We heard there was a spotted eagle ray, so hopefully we run into that and you will see soon.
Fingers crossed.
So now the sun was coming up, so the visibility was good, there was beautiful color, and we saw that stingray again. Don't know if it's the same one, but wow, is that beautiful once you see it in the daylight. We did a whole nother dive that day, and then coming up, we saw this beautiful wave of all these fish. Not quite sure what types of fish these are. And then we also had all the barracudas. Just a really high quantity of fish. And actually, on the shores, there were a lot of those moon jellies, although I don't see many here as we were diving. So they were really collecting on the shores with people coming around and collecting the bodies of the jellyfish on the shoreline so that none of the beachgoers would end up stepping on one of them. And just some more beautiful views of all those schools of fish. We're only about 4 or 5 feet deep here, so it's a little bit hard to get your buoyancy. But man, the clarity in all the creatures, it is just simply mind-blowing. So as we got out of the water, we made plans for the rest of our day. We decided to walk on Juno Beach, one of my favorite beaches that has all the turtle nestings taking place. These nests are actually monitored and tracked by the Loggerhead Marine Life Center. So I've been here several times to watch them do the work, and it's pretty amazing.
So we're also looking for shark teeth on the beach, in addition to looking for all kinds of loggerhead green turtles and leatherback turtle nests.
So each turtle nest is actually located with a stick, and then it's given a name and number so that the Marine Center can monitor it on a daily basis. So if you come here early in the morning, you can see the people, the volunteers on their ATVs going to each and every nest to take their notes and to check on the nest, see if the babies are hatched, or do whatever they can if there's some babies left behind. What a beautiful day it was on the beach.
What's going on today, honey?
Going on a shark dive. Lots of lemons, hopefully a snooty, and hopefully a great hammerhead, and maybe a tiger.
Pretty exciting. All right.
So this next day, we were headed out with Ryan Walton of SharkToursFlorida.com. I've seen Ryan so many times on Instagram, watching all of his shark videos, and we happened to run into him on the beach at Blue Heron. So just in talking to him, he mentioned he had a couple openings left on that Thursday. So we signed up and we were super excited. So on this tour, it was actually on a smaller boat where Ryan has a rope going off the back of the boat, and 6 people or so can go out into the water and hang onto the rope and just kind of float or snorkel while all the wonderful sharks were swimming around us. We had Caribbean sharks, lemon sharks, and even a couple of sandbar sharks. So once the sharks finally started getting used to us, they started coming in a little bit closer. So now people would say, hell no, there is no way I'm getting in the water with all of those sharks. But let me tell you, once the sharks start getting used to you, they come up a little bit closer, and it's pretty cool and exciting to get good videos and good photos. So as you know, sharks do not eat man. We're not on their menu. Sometimes they can do a test bite if they're not quite sure what you are. There are also very strict ways to interact with the sharks. I was kind of being a bad girl here because I did have my hair down and it should have been in a cap to keep that wild mane. So don't follow my example. But don't be flailing about and calling attention to yourself. Stay very still and just relax. So there were people of all ages on this tour, from younger kids, I'm not quite sure what the lower age limit is, to older adults. And Ryan gives a very thorough and strict dive briefing before we get into the water. He is making sure the sharks are acting cool and not getting too agitated before he allows us to get into the water. So actually there was a point where the sharks were starting to get a little bit feisty. He had us get out of the water and back into the boat just to make sure we were all safe. So if you're planning on a trip to go to the West Palm Beach or Riviera Beach area, be sure to check out sharktoursfl.com. So I'll have that link down below in the comment section.
That's a tiny one.
Overall, we were so happy and grateful that we ran into Ryan and were able to set up this trip before we left to go home.
Shark adventures!
So we next ended up at this sushi restaurant, and to be honest, I cannot remember the name. But I will say it was very amazing. And if I can figure out the name of this restaurant, I will also put it in the comment section below. The views from the table were out of this world. Always loved being by the water. The food was amazing and the vibe was happening. So it was essentially our last day, and we had snuck in that extra Goliath Grouper expedition, this time going with Jupiter Dive Center. So we immediately got in the water and we were surrounded by these amazing Goliath Groupers. So this one was actually just gently sitting on the sand. Such a beautiful sight. So Andre is slowly diving up above him, not to disturb him, but we wanted to show you the size difference, size comparison of a Goliath Grouper and how much bigger it is even than a man. So this Goliath Grouper was slowly coming towards me. You can see the little baby teeth, that tongue, and I am not moving here. This thing is actually coming towards me. I was getting a little nervous, so I was like, I am out of here. So not that they've been known to eat man or anything, but I just didn't want to find out anything more. So we did a 2-tank dive, and we saw Goliath Groupers on both of our dives. So we saw them in singles, we saw them in pairs, we saw them in clumps. And in addition to the groupers, we also saw other amazing wildlife, such as the barracuda again. Andre found this one bone formation, which to me looks like a head of a bird. If you think you know what it is, comment below. Otherwise, we just kept swimming around looking at the groupers. There were also many reef fish, as there are some artificial reefs around this area. These posts are filled with corals and sponges and all kinds of little reef fish. There's a little wrasses. Such beautiful colors. I can never get over it. Andre is so brave. He just pulls out his regular, takes off his mask. There is no way in hell I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. We'll see.
So that was pretty amazing.
Yup, massive Goliaths, little nurse shark, bunch of fish. It's a very good dive.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, so.
Florida's been a hit the whole time. So we got some turtles to see on the beach though.
Yep.
So it was our last evening before we headed home, and of course we headed back to Juno Beach. We were determined to see some baby turtles. But what a beautiful sunset this was. I couldn't get over it. We saw this really interesting little crab who completely blended into the sand. And we filmed him a little bit up close. Just checking out those eyes. Pretty incredible to see any kind of creature. So that's what we love to do. We did spot another turtle nest that was directly along the shore. If you know anything about sea turtles, when the water and the sand are warmer, you're going to get more female turtles hatching, and when the sand is cooler, you get more male turtles. So the sand has been warmer these days, so we have been having more female turtles being born. It's the next day, and it was time to head back to the airport. Boo! We love taking the long route back to Fort Lauderdale instead of taking the highways. Love seeing the beautiful houses. We were sad to see this trip be over, but we are excited and cannot wait till our next adventure. Until then, stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you again soon on Green Dolphin Project Global.